welcome to the Dirty Mocktail Hour podcast. I'm Ingrid.
I'm Yadira.
I'm Gina.
And we're going to be talking a little bit today about breakups. This will be a breakup edition. As I have been recently broken up with. So it is going to be a special in the moment play-by-play.
Yeah, it'll be Ingrid's episode.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Maybe, but the insights of the crew here.
Got it.
And then in the meantime, though, Yadira made us a great, cute mocktail here.
Delicious.
It's like a blueberry and sage.
Ooh, it's very tasty. So yeah.
Since we're talking about like heartbreak and stuff, it would have been good to add like some alcohol.
That's true.
Yeah.
Next time.
But we stuck to the mocktail name of it. But maybe, on the low, who knows?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There are a couple of signs I felt like that were coming for this breakup that I experienced about 2 weeks ago. I think now.
Wow, that was so recent. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That was very recent, damn.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, initially I broke up before I went on a trip, a girls' trip with my friend. Well, we didn't break up then, but we had a kind of falling out before my trip with my friends. And it was actually the day before, 2 days before Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah. And then the week after we talked about that event, like when we had a falling out, because I wasn't sure where it was going. Like we didn't end in a good spot when I left to go. I went to San Diego, and so yeah, the following week we met up, and then he broke up with me. So yeah. Yeah.
So how'd that conversation happen?
Well, Yadira is more up to date. I don't think Gina, I mean, I did probably mention it kind of, and I feel like now it's over, and honestly, it's very confusing still because sometimes they would reach out randomly, and I would, whatever. But so pretty much we went out to eat dinner, and Gina's face, and I asked the question to him about whether or not he feels like we're in the same place that we were when we, like, how do you feel about me? Do you still have the same feelings you did for me when we first went out? And then he said to me, his answer was, why are you asking this right now?
Damn.
Wow,
that's
why
horrible.
not?
Yeah. It's a very valid question.
Yeah.
I think it's very valid.
You need to know where the
you guys stand.
is.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's very fair.
Yeah. So he asked me. So he asked me that question, and I thought to myself, why aren't you answering the question?
Yeah.
Like it's not that
He's
hard.
avoiding it.
Yeah, it's not that hard to answer the question. So he had brought up a few things like, because we had this whole thing with the we had a disagreement about something about Snapchat.
All right.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. So he said that he said, what do you he's like, why are you asking me this question right now? And I was like, well, I just want to know because I mean, why are you not answering the question? And he was like, oh, we're having a good dinner right now, like you're ruining the moment, like this was a good moment.
When is the moment?
Yes, I know.
He's turning it around on you.
I know. And so I was like, okay. And then I felt kind of like bad. And then he was like saying to me, he's like, don't you remember I got you roses the other day? And I was like,
what does roses have to do with feelings?
Yeah. And it was, and I mean, I was distracted. I was like, oh yeah, you did give me roses. But that didn't answer the question. Like in my mind, I was like, wait, yeah.
Like he's trying to change the subject.
Why? Is
Yeah.
he not communicating how he feels.
Yeah.
Wasting time.
Yeah. So anyways, we had an in and out conversation. Like he like didn't really answer the question. And then we got to his apartment later on at night. And after we had dinner and went to another place. And then we were sitting on the couch, and then that's when he said to me, he was like, to be honest, Ingrid, I've been falling out of love with you.
Wow.
Yeah. So when he said that to me, I got so emotional because I was like,
real, yeah.
That's a slap in the face.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I felt it. I felt it as like a punch in the chest.
Yeah. Why didn't he mention this when you asked him the question?
I guess the reaction. Because I thought about, was he avoiding this whole situation so I don't burst?
Dragging it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, the dragging was like maybe too long. Yeah. If you already felt that way.
Yeah. I mean, we were 4 months in, and in a way it's like, okay, at least he told me well, I had asked the question.
Yeah.
So which is crazy because I'm like, if I didn't ask you this question,
you would have been like lingering.
Yeah. So that was crazy. And then he told me that, and I like got up, I was crying and getting emotional, and then like the conversation was like being turned around. Like there was just little things he'd bring up and like as if like he was keeping a list of things that I was doing or did. And I never, I mean, he might have mentioned one or two of those things, but I didn't think it was like a big thing to break up over or like fall out of love with someone, right? So initially, like he had to drive me back home because the next day I had to go to the airport. And then like in the car ride, like he was talking to me about things and I was like zoning out. I was looking out the window. I was like
in your feels.
In my feels. And like he kept mentioning stuff in the past and like nothing was positive. And I literally said out loud in the car, like just me talking to myself, I was just like, is this what relationships are?
No, they're not.
They're not. Yeah.
Because it kept like him just saying things like that I did that I, you know, and like
it's like he's keeping track.
Yeah.
Which is not.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy. It seems kind of toxic.
Yeah. So I was just like, but I was also in my defensive, like also like in a bubble. Like I didn't want to talk about it anymore. Like this is not going anywhere.
It's not. It just seems like he's not communicating, but he's keeping track of what you're doing apparently.
It kept going in circles and circles,
but
like,
he's not making a decision.
And there's no solving the problem.
Very much avoiding.
There's no like
everything.
how can we move forward.
Exactly.
It's what you've been doing and I'm just falling out of love. So what's the solution here?
Exactly.
End it or not? Keep me here or just say no. Like
I was in the car ride like getting home, and like she was driving me home, and like towards the end he was like, I love you.
Oh Jesus.
What the fuck, Ingrid?
And then what? That
confused the hell out of me.
I love you.
He seems like the type of person that doesn't know what he wants.
People pleaser, probably.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't want to be lonely.
True. There's some people that would make you stick around because they don't want to be lonely. That is true.
Yeah. And I'm not that type of person, honestly.
Or he just probably thought you were going to run back. Like, I don't love you, but, you know, I need you around.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's horrible, though. Yeah.
I don't... I was just not, you know, like... To me, I feel like... I can't say what I would have done or what I would have said, but I honestly feel like that's such a mean thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
That it's like you could word that differently. And, like, if you've fallen out of love with someone, just... say it different. I don't know, just not in that way,
but not say I love you right after that.
That
was sense.
It confused me. It was so confused me. And it's this is so that he said that and I didn't say anything. I was like, I can't forget what you just said to me. Like it's impossible to forget that. And then he was like, I want to make this work, and I was like, oh man. Anyways, and he said that during the end of the car ride, and I left, went upstairs, I didn't say anything. And then during the whole time that I was on, when I went to San Diego, like he texted me Happy Valentine's Day. There was like a few texts here and there, like a few updates, but it was very like one worded, like not like because I was
not
mad.
A conversation.
Yeah. And he also wasn't initiating.
You have every right to be mad.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to pretend like everything's okay. Like,
when it's not.
We didn't resolve this. So when I got back, when I was actually in the airport in San Diego coming back home, I sent him a text message, and I said to him that we have to talk tomorrow. Like we have to talk when I come back. So technically, like the next day when we're back, like when I get some sleep or whatever. And he's like, yeah, sure. And so the next day came, and he didn't text me at all the entire day. So I texted him and I was like, hey, are we still up for later? And that gave me a lot of anxiety because I was like, oh.
Yeah, because he was prolonging dragging it out.
Yeah. I was like, what is this story? What are we going to talk about? And so then eventually he texted me like a couple hours later. And he was like, oh, can we actually change the day and hang out on Friday instead? And I was like, okay. I was like, oh shit, it's Friday.
It's fine, like, if he needed to reevaluate everything and like his feelings.
Probably to think about it.
Yeah, think about it is fine, but I don't know, just don't leave you hanging for so long.
Yeah.
And he had the whole time you were in the trip to think it through.
Yeah. But he wanted to wait until Friday, so I said, okay, fine. On Friday, I was like, oh shit, bro. Friday, then I'll have the weekend if I have a breakup. I was like mentally preparing myself for the worst. Because I was like, okay, well, it could go either one or two ways. So Friday came along, and I waited for him to text me because I was like, I'm not texting you. Like, reach out. And then he eventually texted me, and then he said to me what time, like, we confirmed the time, whatever. And then he finally came, picked me up, and when I got in the car, he was like, all right, I was thinking we can go to Astoria Park. I was like, oh, Astoria Park? What are we gonna talk about in Astoria? Astoria Park is in Queens, in New York. So, but it's close, here. But they have a parking
close to the
lot.
Water.
Yeah, close to the water. Throw my body in the river.
Oh, jeez.
But it's they have a parking lot, so you can just go in underneath the bridge, and like most people go there to talk or whatever. So
to talk.
They do. A lot of breakups happen there.
Oh,
well,
the talks.
I mean, it was the first time for me to have real.
I know.
talk
Yeah,
like
the talks in the Astoria Park in the driveway. Okay, not the driveway. What is it?
The
parking lot.
Yeah, it's not a great place. I mean, at least it was in person. All I have to say is,
no, at least it wasn't
everything that
text.
happened in person. Thank God for that.
Yeah. You get better closure that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we are in the park, and then he's like, so what do you want to talk about? And I was like, well, initially I want to talk about what you said about you falling out of love with me. That's the big goal, one. And I honestly can't I don't know.
What did he respond?
I don't remember anymore, because I'm like, did he say he loved me? Like, I feel like he went back to that, like saying he loved me, but it's just like that we have been having so many problems 4 months in. And then he's like saying like he was still bringing up things, and then okay, so he was bringing up stuff, and I was prepared for that. So I was like, okay, let's try to change it. Let's maybe we have to create boundaries, or maybe we have to communicate. Like, I was trying to make it work more positive, and like just try to turn it around to be like, okay, what can we do? And then he was like, yeah, but there was a weird part where he was like, oh, why do I have to put boundaries? Like, you should already know this. Like that, he just kept coming with like
very aggressive,
like aggressive and like negative, like, and then at a certain point, because
close-minded,
it kept
communicative.
Yeah, it kept going in circles and circles and circles. And at a certain point, I was like, you know what, like,
do you want to be with me?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, because it was like a good 30-minute conversation.
Oh, wow, it's a long conversation.
It felt long. It felt really long. And then I was like, okay, honestly, it feels like we are going in circles. And I was like, you need to tell me what you want to do, because I like, do you want to keep working on this, or do you want to take a break or like focus on yourself? And he was like, yeah, I want to focus on myself. And then he turned on the car, like he was ready to go. Like, that was waiting for his moment to tell me what it was, initially going around in circles. And then I was like, okay. And of course, I'm like composed.
He dropped you off at least?
Yes, thank God. And then during the car ride, he was like, I just want you to know this isn't easy for me. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I wasn't like, what am I gonna say to that? I don't know.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, the car ride back to my house,
so awkward and long.
Like, so the lights took forever to change. I was like, bro, like, this is crazy. And then like he kept saying, he was like, oh, is there anything else I need to work on? Because there's some things I mentioned to him, and then I was, oh, this is a big deal. This is a whole other situation too. So 2 weeks ago, when we had the initial falling out, right? we were at the restaurant, and he said something to me. He was like making a joke, and he was like, "Oh, I really love bombed you, didn't I?"
Oh,
he said that to me.
that was a joke?
And I was like, "What do you mean? Excuse me?"
Did he explain himself after?
He was like, "Oh, I feel like we said love you too soon and stuff like that." And I was like, "Okay, the use." Yo, you can't make this shit up. And so yeah. So, and then I mentioned that again in the car ride, because he was like, "Oh, is there anything else I need to work on?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, I think so," because I was like, the last time we talked about this whole whatever. I just said the last time you said you made a joke about love bombing me, and if that's the case, you really need to work on that, because like you like purposely kind of
messed you up.
love bombed. Like he did say I love you 3 weeks in, so. I thought it was a little sus, but
they happen sometimes.
Yeah. So
I have a lot to say, but I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
No, you could bring the comments, Gina.
It's okay.
Bring the comments.
It's an open field. But yeah, he said that. I mean, that's why I mentioned to him, and he was
toxic.
Yeah, and he was telling me that.
I feel like you were doing most of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was trying to, and it was crazy because it was like he was saying to me that he's depressed, and he was like, "Oh, I'm depressed." Like, this is when we hit the falling out. I was like, I don't even know what that looks like for you. Like, I really didn't know what that looked like for him.
But that's a baggage. You were actually being there for him.
Yeah.
I remember always trying your best to make an experience positive.
Right.
Whether you guys were like going out to eat pizza or something, like anything, you'll make it positive. Try to help him out. Yeah. You were the reason he would go out.
Do anything. Things. Yeah.
I think he
just took all that for granted,
and
probably.
he not only took it for granted, but he was jealous. Maybe he's jealous that, Ingrid,
you have all this going on.
Yeah. Not only that, she has like a positive outlook. Yeah. And he's just like, damn, I'm not good enough for her. Or trying to bring you down to your level.
Like self-sabotage type of thing. Yeah.
Why are you happy? Like, people are like that. They get depressed and they feel like everyone else around them shouldn't be happy. Yeah. Or it's just, why are they happy?
Yeah, exactly. So. I've heard of that before. And to be honest, my mom told me the same thing.
Oh, no, see your mom. Moms know best.
Mom knows.
And you know what? Like, I really hope he's not watching this or anything, because to be honest,
listen, we wish him the best.
Yeah. But whatever you want to do with your life,
you shouldn't do that to people.
Yeah, no,
you
don't
should be straight with them. If you can't be with them,
he could have avoided all of this earlier on.
Hurting her feelings.
If he had the guts to
be honest with her. I can't be in a relationship. This and this and this. I wish you the best. We could be friends or whatever. But like,
he could have done it sooner.
Yeah. And it's like, and unfortunately, the reality of it, like, I feel like don't be surprised when the people around me already know the situation, because like, I literally was broken up with, and then like when I got out of the car and I was getting into my apartment, my mom was coming downstairs and she was in the hallway and she was about to leave the apartment. And I was like telling her, like, get back inside. And then she's like, what? Whatever.
Oh, man. I love your mom. Yeah, your mom is awesome.
And I was like, he broke up with me. And I just started crying.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah. And my mom was so mad. She was,
as she should be.
She was saying a lot of things.
She was cursing in Spanish and shit.
And everything. So, and then
it hurts a mom,
Yeah. And I'm like,
she probably saw how much effort you made, because I know you did. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
It was interesting. He was like, this is probably a little bit too much information. Maybe I'll cut it out. I don't know.
Okay. Whatever you feel.
He was like telling me, he's like, oh, I haven't paid for the gas. Like he was saying to me like I.
So you're telling me you paid for gas, but he dragged you for 4 months. Dealing with his baggage, not having the best time, because let's be real, you could have had a better time with someone that was worth your time. I'm sorry, but still, don't be telling me about your gas. Fuck your gas at this point.
Very true. Yeah, like that's so funny.
So why don't you just be a man?
Yeah, I was like, the audacity to bring up a gas conversation.
Did he do that while you guys were? That was before.
No, that was in the end.
In the end,
up with me.
That's so he wanted you to pay the gas.
He was like,
he broke up with you. He led you on like Gina said for those 4 months,
and then he's like, gas.
He's like, here's $20. I don't fucking know what the fuck.
Are you kidding me?
While you guys are breaking up, oh my god.
Yo, that is so
messed up. That's very petty.
You know what I would. Good thing I have not had anyone say that shit to me, because
that's horrible.
I would have done worse.
I need a sip after that. That's horrible.
Gas comment? Come on.
The gas was crazy.
Not after a breakup. That's wild.
I told my friend about that because she has a car, and she I won't say her name. Almost said her name.
No, gas was wasted.
But when I was telling my friend about that, she was like, "Girl, even I have a car, and I never ask you for gas. That's crazy that your boyfriend would be like, oh, you didn't pay me for gas?
Ask you.
Yeah,
like that's crazy.
He's definitely being petty.
If you were straightforward and you were to tell the person, hey, I don't want to be with you, then you wouldn't have to go all the way to Astoria,
right?
To waste 30 minutes of her time. I mean, why not pay for your time?
Yeah. That's true.
No, I'm serious. Wasted my whole 4 months. How much money did you spend, Ingrid? Let's be real. Let's do the math. Let's send receipts because not the gas.
I know, and I would have never. I mean, like I would bring. Well, that's to me, it's petty when you bring in finances, like
because you could have easily said, okay, for 4 months, I will charge you this amount.
Exactly,
that's true. My time. You could have been with someone else.
Yeah, that's true.
Just saying.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. And I was like seeing the side of this person. And seeing how they come with solutions, or like how they come about with like expressing themselves to make me feel bad, or like yeah. And I was like, do I want to be with this person is the question.
Definitely not.
I think he did you a favor.
Yeah, he definitely did.
This is definitely the best breakup, because now you know this motherfucker really brought up gas. There's no way I want to be with him.
That's true.
After this shit, no way.
Not after you did all those nice things for him. That's horrible.
Yeah, you did really nice things. I'm sorry.
From the positive of this, I'd say 4 months in, we broke up. It could have been worse. It could have been a year in. Yeah. It could have been living together.
I'm happy it happened when it did, because now you know.
Now you know.
And I asked the question.
You did the right thing. You communicated.
Exactly.
His response
you were
wasn't
things probably,
the right one, and now you know he's not the right one. That's it. Keep it pushing. Like,
exactly.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you never asked that question, you probably would have still
been
right
thinking about.
What's a good thing you followed your gut?
Yeah.
And you were able to ask that question.
I think you were already questioning it.
Yeah, for a while.
I'll be honest with you. I think you were.
Yeah, I definitely was. I mean, there were things but I was still trying.
You gave it your all.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. So and
no regrets.
Yeah. Things happen.
You live and you learn.
Yeah. I experienced it. It was what it was. I mean, it was still something that, like, you know, I still feel for the person.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah. I do feel bad.
No, but I feel for him.
No. I mean, honesty, I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Because that's just really sad.
Yeah.
Not because of, the breakup, but what that person's going through, because,
it's a tough world.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to be out right now.
And, yeah. But anyways, so I saw this article and I thought it would be interesting to kind of share. It's 10 signs your partner probably wants to break up with you. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about and get your thoughts if you have any. So number 1, they avoid you. So I'm guessing, like, not texting or like making excuses of hanging out. They stop talking about the future with you.
That's for sure.
So
one word answers, I think that's definitely a thing.
Like avoiding it.
Like, how you doing?
Yeah.
How you been?
Yeah, definitely.
They stop making an effort. Number 3.
You could definitely tell the difference from when the beginning,
especially when they don't want to see you, or you try to make plans like, I can't.
Yeah, they keep canceling on you.
Yeah, flaking a lot.
Crazy. In a relationship too. Goddamn. 4, they put their friends first. What do you think of that one?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It all depends on where you're at in the relationship, to be honest with you.
It'd be different if, like, they bring you out.
Best friend, and it could be a birthday. So like
it could be different if, like, they're hanging out with their friends and they bring you along and they ignore you the whole night.
Yeah, that's different.
I think that would make more sense, but not what they put down there. Not the friends
being first.
No.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that one.
Number 5, you're no longer intimate with each other.
That could be a big one.
That definitely is a big one.
Yeah. Like, no more physical touch. No more
holding hands, kissing.
They're moving away. They're getting a little cold.
Yeah, that's for sure.
they're being secretive. Number 6.
Yes. That's a big one.
Hiding their phones.
Yep.
Yes, when they
throwing their phones on the floor across the room.
When they don't want you to look at their phones.
Yeah.
They turn it like this. Turn it upside down on the table.
Yep. That's a horrible feeling.
Oh, I just put it like this because I didn't realize. Yeah. I know. I don't want to. Yeah, that's the only reason I did that.
They threaten to leave you. Number 7.
Threaten, if you're gonna leave me, leave me. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's like one of those things like I could find.
Or maybe if they say like, I no longer feel the same for you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it says threaten, like
to leave you. Maybe like if you keep it up, like I can't be with you anymore.
I guess if they're making jokes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess similar to what happened with you.
Yeah.
Like a joke that he said.
The love bombing thing. Yeah. Preparing for
I guess that's not really threatening, but it is like words.
Yeah.
Mental.
Number 8, they pick fights with you.
That's a fact. Yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over small things.
Even little things. Yeah.
Very petty small things.
Yeah. Number 9, they cut back on their communication.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yes, yeah. It could be. But sometimes they could just be sleeping.
It's yeah.
I mean, like it's different, I guess, if they don't talk to you within the day.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Yeah, but if they don't talk to me for like a couple hours, they might be sleeping or doing something. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if I don't hear from them by the end of the day, then it's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good. Number 10, which is the last one, you feel unappreciated.
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like you get like a gut feeling something's up.
Yeah, like you're doing all these nice things for someone and they don't appreciate it.
Yeah. So those are the top 10, apparently, signs that your partner wants to break up.
Do you feel like any of those signs resonated with you?
Well, I think definitely, I feel like the last 3 to 4 weeks that we were planning, like hanging out, I felt like the energy was just lower. Now, to be fair, I couldn't tell. Honestly, I wasn't thinking about depression. I honestly was just thinking, I don't know. It's 2 different worlds, right? He was trying to look for work. He's home most of the time. I'm at work. Like I like to go outside. He likes to stay home. So it's hard for me to understand what that is, what that feels like. But it came across a little bit like he didn't want to like his energy was low. So I feel like the avoiding, I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's all a little bit like
a little bit of all.
He had a lot going on too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it was probably very overwhelming for him to keep up, which I think is my major concern, because I had, especially in this situation when we talk about income and like talking about like I guess equality in a way, where I felt like I didn't know if I was going to offend him by like paying for things, or like sometimes I would do 50-50, but it's like trying to be aware of the person's finances, and then also trying to like not step on their toe. Like it's a dance, like trying to you know, respect his masculinity. So
do you think he would get offended?
I don't know. It was so confusing, because I would pay stuff, and then there'd be times when I let him pay, and then he mentioned in the fight, he was like, he mentioned how like he would pay for things that I was like, yeah, but I asked you if you wanted me to pay, and you said no, it's okay, you got it. So I'm like, how am I supposed to read your mind?
But then you would also pay.
Yeah, I would pay.
So,
but he would mention the parts where I didn't pay. So I'm like,
okay,
but you know what I mean? Like he kept track.
It. Oh,
like
damn.
And I can't remember everything. I can't remember everything.
God, that means he had like a little list of things that he paid for.
So he just easily could have been like, I'm sorry, I can't pay for that.
Yeah. Or like, we can't
be
go
honest.
out.
Yeah.
Or we can't go out. I'm sorry, I can't.
If we can't go out, you know, exactly. I know times are hard. Finances are hard too.
Even if it's 50-50, we can't go out. I'm sorry, because I can't even. I mean, it's fine. That's okay.
At least if he was honest, it would have been.
I think
like
honesty would have been better.
Yeah. Instead of holding it in,
or playing,
because you don't like you said,
like,
you can't read his mind, so you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, if anything, I think maybe he just wasn't as open.
Well, he wasn't ready for a relationship. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready, and he wasn't as open with you as maybe you thought he was in the beginning.
Yeah. And I think there was like hopes for change, and like a little bit like not as realistic about what's happening. Like, you know, like planning in terms of the future. It's like, yeah, you probably should like focus on yourself before you even date anybody.
That's true.
If you don't have security.
I agree.
So yeah. So those were the 10 signs. And then I had this little thing that I thought we could do, a bad communication example to show like what could be the bad way of communicating here. And then a good communication style. So I guess we can do one each, but
okay, let's see
do you want to do the first one?
The first one.
Yeah. And do you want to be Mark? And no, do you want to be Jake? I'll be Maria.
Okay, sure. Jake and Maria.
Okay, let's
Maria.
see. All right. Okay, I'm Maria, right? I go first. Okay. Wow. I guess your phone is way more interesting than me.
Wait, don't we have to put the scenario first?
No, they don't know. Oh, I guess so. I guess so. Okay.
All right, let's start over.
Okay, Maria and Jake are having dinner, but Jake is constantly scrolling through his phone. Maria feels ignored and frustrated. Maria, wow, I guess your phone is way more interesting than me. Why do I even bother talking to you?
Oh, here we go again. You're always complaining about something. Can I just relax for a second?
You never listen to me. I'm always the last thing on your priority list.
Maybe if you weren't so needy, we wouldn't have this problem.
All right, guys.
That's horrible. I would hate if someone said that to me.
Why do you think this is a bad way to communicate?
Just very combatant, very aggressive. Like,
he just dismissed.
Yeah. Very dismissive, yes.
Like,
yes.
not
your
listening.
Feelings, your concerns.
Yeah.
And he went straight to being
horrible.
mad.
Yeah,
he was just
like very defensive.
Yeah. Very defensive, very aggressive.
And quick to blame, using sarcasm.
Yeah.
It escalates the argument instead of solving it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Gina, do you want to be Maria?
The good one.
Sure.
And then you could be Jake.
I'll be Jake.
Okay.
The good communication.
I guess we can read the scenario.
Yeah.
This is the same issue. Jake is distracted by his phone at dinner and Maria wants his attention.
Hey, babe, I feel like we don't really get to connect when we're both on our phones during dinner. I miss our conversations. Can we put them away for a bit?
Oh, I didn't realize I was on it so much. I'm sorry. That's not fair to you. I'll put it down.
Thank you. I just love our quality time, and I feel closer to you when we focus on each other.
Alrighty. So I feel like this worked better. I mean, it's of course not as organic, but it's a little bit more.
Yeah, because both people are open to listening and communicating.
Exactly. Instead of pointing fingers.
And putting the blame on the other person.
And a lot of times it's like, where I was watching this from another podcast, but it's about couples that make it work. It's like they come together as one, like us against the problem, instead of it's me versus you against what your issue is. So it's like you still want to work together as a team and listen to each other because we both have different needs and we come from different like backgrounds. So it's I thought that was interesting, the idea of like mentality of like us against each other.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I have here that this approach uses also like I statements, like how I feel, instead of going straight to like blaming another person and using you statements.
Which is very common.
Yeah.
It's very common.
It's very easy to go the other way though.
Yeah, it is.
Getting in your feelings.
It depends on your mood.
Yeah, and their language. Sometimes you're just triggered by like their reaction.
But communication is so important.
It is a big one. Yeah.
Very important because these two scenarios are like completely different.
Yeah.
But the outcome, it could be the same outcome if the communication went well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like, I guess one person could be.
And sometimes two people are very different.
Stubborn too. Or in their ways.
Yeah. And then I was talking to somebody about this, but like repeating when you're having an argument with someone or like some debate, repeating what they said to you back at them so that you are repeating what they said so you better understand and so that they also hear what they just said to make sure that they communicated the right way. So like, I don't know how to explain that, but like,
I know what you mean.
But yeah, like when they say something, repeat it to them and ask
like,
them,
is this what you meant?
Yeah,
just to clarify, because you want to be able to answer correctly.
Yeah, and it gives you a minute to be
gives them a minute to probably like process it and be like, okay, I'm so sorry, that's not what I meant.
Exactly.
Because texting you can miscommunicate.
That is true.
In person as well. Even in person. So
yeah, as you can see. But yeah, I feel like I've definitely been in scenarios where like bad communication was definitely went that route, and then there's good communication, like when you get your point across. But it all depends what you're trying to do. Are you trying to like win the argument, or you're trying to just listen? It's
a fair point.
It's never about, I noticed, like, I mean, from listening to podcasts about relationships, I'm like, the ego, the pride, you kind of got to push that to the side.
But some people listen to answer, not to understand. That's a big thing in relationships, friendships, or anywhere, to be honest with you.
No, that's true. Which is a big, I mean, as we get older, it's a skill we need to like get better at, because like we need to be better communicators, like, and not even us, but like world leaders, like the human race,
yeah, for sure.
you know? So yeah, that's a big thing, like the ego, the pride, like having to push that aside and like having to work together. So and not winning just to win, not arguing just to win, like you don't, that defeats the purpose of working together.
Right. Very true.
I think. And so, and my question was, when's the right time to bring an issue in a relationship, and when is it too late?
The right time. I don't think it's ever too late, but I think the right time would be, I guess you would know when the right time would be for you. Depending on what it is. If it's like something that happened,
I think as bothering you, soon as it occurs.
Yeah, if it's something that's bothering you that the person did, then yes, do that like right away. Oh. But if it's something where you have to think and you don't want to overreact, because for me it's different. I want to take my time to process, because I'm very mean when it comes with my words. Yeah. I'm very aggressive, so I don't want to offend the other person. Yeah. So I take my time and I let them know, like, hey, I just need some space right now, because I don't want to take it out on you with my words. Yeah. But that's just what I've learned about myself. Yeah. As much as I want to deal with it right then and there, I know I can't do that, because my mouth takes over and I can't control what I say. Yeah. But that's just me.
That makes sense.
I've had that too. Yeah. I've had that where I needed...
You just blur it out and it just comes
and I've done that. I've done that to a lot of people. So I'm like, let me...
Well, relationships... Yeah. Either way, what I like about relationships in general, though, you learn so much about yourself.
Yes, that is true. You do learn a lot about yourself. Yes.
I've learned a couple things, even with him telling me things like, you know, like maybe I don't agree everything what he said about, you know, what he had faults with. I was like, you know what? It just means that I need to be a little bit more like patient and like be aware, like be more aware of a person's like, because sometimes we get so focused on ourselves and like what we want to do, and like I don't know, I just always try to hopefully be better in the next relationship, whoever I'm with, be more aware, and like and I'm happy that I got to this point where like I had a breakup in person, and like we had a bit of a closure, that I can be like, okay, the next relationship, like I can work better on, like, you know, maybe of course we get defensive, like I'm just trying to be more like settled and not reactionary. Like even if Rama has a problem with me, or not a problem, but like brings up something, but I think it's also normal and as being emotional, like,
it's very normal.
For sure.
I can't be perfect. I'm not perfect.
No one's ever perfect. No. But you get to learn a little bit from every relationship you're in. Yeah, and
that
you
is
take
true.
that to your next relationship.
It makes you grow. It makes you better.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, we both hopefully learned something from that. And then I saw this on a podcast, but it's like future tripping. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So it's like a form of anticipatory anxiety for the future, like planning for the future with someone when you're not there yet. So like worrying about like what's gonna happen between us, like, oh my god, we only have 6 months, like putting the time frame of things. And
damn, that's very stressful. That very like anxiety. Really a lot of anxiety with. But maybe I think that just stems insecurity. I think that just stems from like coming from bad relationships and where you don't grow after.
What if you feel insecure about your current relationship? That's why you're constantly worried.
Tripping about the future.
I feel like a person you're with and can ease, like
they're supposed to help you to figure out the future
ease
together.
Your concern.
Exactly. Reassure you. That's very important.
So I think if you're too anxiety, like if I'm anxious and my partner's anxious, I don't know. I feel like that's not a good mix either.
Really? Because I feel like I had anxious attachment style. Yeah. And then my current boyfriend also has the same. But we're both very reassuring with each other that it helps us out with that.
So then maybe you guys no longer
I think
have that anxiety.
Yeah, with each other anyways.
You guys are more secure.
Yeah, more secure attachment. Yeah, because we both communicate with each other.
I think that's what it is, the communication.
Yeah, the communication, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I mean, it could go both ways, I guess.
Yeah.
So when it comes to having a disagreement, like, how do you guys go about it? Like, I mean, obviously you're both in relationships, so like more positive. Is it end up like communication?
I don't know. Communication, like
number 1 or number 2, the bad or more the good communication?
This is the good one.
Mine is good too. It's not bad. I don't think we ever get into like arguments and stuff.
I think I learned from about my previous arguments, and I feel like you're not gonna win. You're not trying to win the argument. You're trying to be better together. Right, because what are you gonna win? You might end up losing the person. Just
true. Yeah.
Just to prove a point.
Exactly.
Yeah, very true.
100%. I agree with that as well. I feel like that's a lot of missteps of like. Yeah. I feel like people who don't have too much experience, which is okay, like in relationships, make that mistake, which I feel like I've gotten better with. Like I don't think I think it always depends on the guy though. Sometimes they come with the ego and then I get like. Yeah. I can really easily get into ego. I feel like if like I'm dating someone and they start like accusing me of things, I'd be like, no, like, you know, and then you get stuck in that trap.
Yeah. It's so toxic.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not going to end well. And then one of the questions was, you know, a thing to think about is that can your partner accept you're sorry without shaming you?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one. But if you're constantly sorry, they just... It won't mean anything.
Exactly.
Which I do get that, but shaming you,
right?
No,
yeah,
that's
no.
not.
Yeah, you shouldn't shame someone.
No,
maybe they might have done something and they didn't realize it.
It depends. If you're cheating, like it depends.
Cheating is beyond.
I'm sorry. There's no going back from that.
It's hard. That's a trust thing. That's more of a trust.
They can't do cheating. No.
Yeah,
but cut them off immediately.
Yeah. No matter what kind of cheating, physical, emotional, that's cheating.
Yeah, it's cheating. Yeah. Cheating is cheating.
Yeah, I agree. And it's hard to build that trust. I can never see someone again the same way. The same way I can't see someone who tells me that they don't love me anymore. I'm like...
Some people like turn their... What is it called? They
turn their back.
Yeah.
Turn their blind eye.
Yeah, but I can't do that.
Yeah, no.
I guess it depends on like the severity of like if they are financially dependent or have kids.
That is a fact.
That happens a
lot. I think the older generation is
willing to just accept that.
Versus us now, like our new generation, they don't tolerate that.
Yeah, because we have a little bit more independence. I feel like.
I think that's what it is.
That's true. Different ways of life.
Yeah,
it's changed so much for women in the past couple centuries.
Hopefully, it keeps getting
better.
Hopefully, it keeps getting better.
Yeah, because right now it's not 100% the best, but hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah,
go backwards.
We'll go backwards. No,
but we're not trying to go backwards.
No, we're trying to go forward. Yep.
Exactly. And I think one of the biggest things also, like what you said, Yadira, about like having a cool down period if you're feeling like you're going to say the wrong thing. Like I
agree with that.
I agree with it too, because I honestly feel like when I went on my trip to San Diego, it gave me clarity. It gave me time to think.
But to let them know that you want to circle back.
Yeah, just to remind them, we're going to go back to that conversation. Yeah, I'm not letting you forget it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm not skipping that, thinking that you're in the clear.
No.
It's like, nope.
Yeah, same. I did the same
don't play around with that.
I don't play with it either. I'm like, no, I'm not repeating...
It's not like I'm gonna forget about it. No. Like I'm Tweedledee, Tweedledum.
Damn, no,
I'm sorry.
Oh, same here. Yeah. So I do believe in that. I believe in like trying to be in the best headspace to have a productive conversation. Like whether it takes 15 minutes. I always say like, this is a thing I believe in too. Is that like don't sleep mad, or like if you
say that,
what was the saying?
Don't go to sleep mad.
Yeah, like if you're gonna have a discussion, you and a problem, like you're having an argument, at least don't let it linger and like not talk about it.
Yeah, you can find out ways to get your anger out first, and then if you need to circle back, definitely to talk with them about it.
I felt like that needed to be done for me, at least. Like when I went to Sandy, I really regretted that whole unfortunately, it ended the way it ended because I had to get on a plane and I couldn't. Like he really didn't want to solve the issue in the moment. But when I was on vacation, when I was coming back, it just built up anxiety. Yeah. So it doesn't really help to be
prolonging
it.
Yeah.
You know?
You probably did, but you still enjoyed your trip.
I did.
Yeah.
I had a distraction.
It's just a coming back to the real world problems. And he's making you wait a little bit more when he already had his answer.
Yeah. Crazy.
That was messed up on his part.
Yeah.
But I found out either way. So, yeah. So, and then I guess one last little thing is about how to self-care when dealing with a breakup. Honestly, I at least had like a week. I was thinking of the worst of the worst. So I booked the weekend of, like, before we were going to meet each other on the Friday before the weekend. I booked a yoga session with puppies.
That's always
puppy yoga's fun.
Puppy
Therapy.
yoga, yeah. And I went with a friend, and I did that on Sunday, and it helped. It was nice to just like be with someone and like be with puppies. and then after he broke up with me the day of, I went to a yoga like meditation. I did cry during that session.
Crying is good.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good.
It's really
Can't keep it in.
Yeah.
No. So it was a long yoga session, and honestly, I mean, it depends on everyone, but I feel like physically moving my body, like going outside, like even I spend a lot of money on coffee, but doing things I enjoy.
Yeah.
And spending time with friends and taking care of myself and going to the gym, I would say, are
Gym
my
is
ways.
good too.
Get out your frustration.
Yeah. Getting back to my physical love for myself.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing to say.
Yeah. So, I mean, self-care looks different for everybody, but I focus the energy back on me.
Well, that's good. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're healing in a positive way.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely if you need to take some time for yourself, breaking up is not easy for anyone.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to be taking care of yourself. Self-care.
Yeah.
Talk to a close friend.
Right. Things always do get better.
They do.
You might not see it now, but eventually they get better.
It'll be different.
Yeah, it'll be better.
Things happen for a reason.
Exactly.
Very true.
And journaling also helped me.
Oh, yes, writing.
Yeah. If you have a therapist as well, like whatever beneficial like moment for you is like that, you can get it out of your system. I don't like to drink. I don't like to, maybe when I was younger, like party.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just really need to face the situation and take the time
to focus on yourself and heal.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyways, alrighty guys. Well, I think that's it for this episode. But you know where to find us. We have our YouTube and Instagram, Dirty Mocktail Hour podcast. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.